and with victorious Greenbrier West coach Jared Robertson. And Jared, I think there were two players in this game tonight for the so-called clutch gene. One was Chad Savage on the other side. One on your side was Kaiden Pack. And I mean, you talk about clutch shots. Yeah, that fourth quarter in overtime, he had 16 points, but his three-pointers just clutch. I mean, and I think you've coached him all the time. You know how good he is. Just talk about where that stands in the annals of what Kaiden Pack's done as an athlete at Greenbrier West.
Well, we struggled shooting the ball tonight for quite a while, and so did James Monroe. It shows what defense can do when you play hard like both of us do. But Kaiden has, he hit 1,000 points in his career for us a couple games ago. He's a stat sheet guy. We've talked about he rebounds, he gets steals, he makes assists, and he's our go-to guy. And when the game was on the line and we needed buckets, he made one of the biggest buckets in our school's history in basketball. And I can't say enough about him. And you're right, the young man, Mr. Savage, for them is the same kind of player. I hate it for Coach Savage because he's a good friend of mine and he's had a phenomenal year, and they could easily be state champions. And I know how heartbroken those kids are right now.
You know now that you'll play Pendleton County. That's an undefeated team. Tonight's opponent was a one-loss team.
Right.
What do you know about Pendleton, and any early scouting report?
I had a little bit of film on them. I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, but seen some on highlights. I know they got a big kid that was their good lineman in football as their big post player. Their quarterback that's a phenomenal athlete, one of their guards.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, they look like a really athletic, well-coached team. They haven't lost in 2 years, and it will be a big challenge for us, but at least we got a few days to try and find out more about them.
I saw you down here on Saturday. You said you thought you saw a couple of things you might be able to use. It looked like early you were going to be content to maybe run some offense, slow that juggernaut that they got. They get out and run. You really didn't allow that tonight, at least not a lot, not to the extent they normally do it.
Right.
Talk about your game plan coming in.
Well, we're usually an up and down team. We press and trap and run, and honestly, I call it a track meet, but they're a better track team than we are. And our first two meetings, we did that at times, and we've really struggled to slow a game down just because of our nature. But I'm gonna give our kids credit. The last few practices we've really worked on. If you don't have an easy fast break for a layup, then we're gonna walk the ball up, and we're gonna keep the score down, and we're gonna make them execute. And we really tried to focus on making the extra pass, not settling for a good shot, and get a great shot. And we kept it close enough to where in the fourth quarter we finally made a couple and got it into overtime.
And you talk about the last few games. I think before the Summers County game, you kind of had a little get-together with your team, and it seemed to me like you turned the corner. Now, you can point to opponents in some instances, but that's certainly not the case tonight. I know you lost to Webster to come down here,
right?
And it wasn't the case then either. I mean, talk about just turning the corner at that point. I don't want you to say what you said or anything, but do you feel that was an impetus for what you were able to do here at the end of the season and make the state tournament?
We started the year we had a couple tough losses to Tug Valley, but they were both very competitive games. We knocked off Williamstown, we knocked off Clay Battelle, and I feel like in a way that it's almost like we were having too much fun and not doing the things that made us successful. And we went a couple weeks in the middle of the season that we really struggled. And, I just said, look, guys, we got to get back to playing the right way. And, I'm going to give our kids credit. When I walked into the locker room before warm-ups tonight, they'd wrote up on the board, we have to rebound, limit our turnovers, make our easy shots, and in big giant letters, play together as a team. And it was circled in exclamation points. And I thought tonight we really did that. We made the extra pass. We shared the ball. Kaiden took over a little bit, but he's our best player, and he's going to have to do that in big moments. And he came through tonight for us.
He said he wanted the ball as a senior. That way, if it came down to it, and you guys did lose, he would take the blame for it. I mean, that seemed, and he said he also felt it was going in, shooter mentality. I mean, is that just the kind of? And I talked about the clutch gene. I mean, there it is.
Well, I think to be a great player, you have to have self-confidence, and he definitely does. He's got a little show to his game, that aggravates some people sometimes. But he's just having fun, and that's just how he plays. And you can see his reaction out here, hugging his teammates and talking about we're not finished. And that's our goal. We're happy to get to Charleston, but we want to go down there and keep winning.
I talked to you in football season, and I think it had stuck with you because you talked about losing to Mount View in the sectional tournament. Actually, there was no state tournament last year.
Right.
And do you feel like kind of back-to-back berth? Does it make up for that loss at Mount View?
That loss really hurt our kids. It really hurt me. A lot of things I wish I'd done differently mentally preparing for that game. And I think that helped us in the tournament this year. We came out against Richwood in the first game, which is when we lost last year, and we played phenomenal. I think it was like 29-5 the first quarter. We can't play any better than that. And I think it got our kids' confidence back that we can keep playing well.
How do you think this region will prepare just because of the gauntlet you got to get through playing teams in this area?
Pendleton County hasn't lost a game in 2 years. They're obviously maybe the best team. But, we played Tug Valley, we played Williamstown, we played Clay Battelle, we played James Monroe, we played Webster County. We feel like we're ready to go play anybody. It's just a matter of us executing and doing our job.
Okay, Jared, I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
We'll see you in Charleston.
Thank you, sir.